if I had $100,000. Now, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a banker of any kind, but something you'd want to do, definitely meet with a financial advisor to set this up in a proper way with tax stuff. I don't really follow a lot of tax stuff. So you would want to meet with a financial advisor to see the best way to hold this, like Roths or IRAs. I don't know. You would want to talk to them. And then also a lawyer, besides just a financial advisor, lawyers, because I would always advise someone to have a trust. So a trust, they are costly. Well, they're like $3,000 to $7,000, depending how much you have and what your assets are. But trusts make it so, let's say you drop dead, then your money doesn't get held up in a probate. And also, if you got in like a car accident type thing, and then you had like hospital bills where they were trying to keep you alive or whatnot, and then they're going to try to gouge your family or your beneficiaries. If you have stuff set up in a trust with who it's going to go to and all this, it's legally binding and it can't be touched. So trust is what like the really rich people do to make it so their shit doesn't get taken. Now, ETFs. I would get some ETFs. Now this one, people have SPY. Now what an ETF is, it's a bundle of stocks, right? And something else that's nice about ETFs, these have dividends. So some of these stocks wouldn't have a dividend. So the main ones here, you would get a big thing of Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, Tesla. Then this one would be the other Google. Google has two ones, but then you can look through all the ones in there, right? You had the Tesla, see, and then they hold each other up. So you got Visa, Eli Lilly, MasterCard, Walmart. This is like a collection of what looks American companies here, Bank of America. So you get a little piece of all these pies, and interesting, Palantir, a small amount of Palantir. So that's SPY. People do like SPY. And then you could have other ETFs. So other ones, this IYZ. So you could, this one's in communications. So now this one's going to be large cap communications. You're going to have Cisco. I like Verizon has like a 7% dividend, but it's a cheaper stock. But this would give you a bit of that. That one has to do with the semiconductors. Comcast, that's our television. Cisco, that's a sketchy guy. That's somewhat of a borders of defense one, right? But then other ones that I think would be, I would looking these up. Oh, this one could definitely be fun. This one is a quantum one. So you would have D-Wave, Palantir, which isn't quantum, Rigetti, IONQ, RTX is also defense there, but this one, and they change it out. So quantum companies definitely don't have dividends, but this one, a tiny one, 0.41%. So these you could just sit and not worry about, and then other people are basically, handling these ones. These ones, all the tech ones, there's a lot of these. This one's a Vanguard Telecommunication. Wait, did I already do this one? No, I didn't. This one's got a lot of Meta. So as single stocks, I would recommend Meta for sure. And Google, definitely I would recommend that one too. See, Netflix, probably don't go wrong on Netflix, but this is just, now you have your exposure to it if you want it. And obviously, and then if one of these really starts to fucking have a disaster, then the Vanguard people that run this would take it out. They change this one's the UFC and wrestling. That's kind of funny. You got Roblox in there. People do. Disney. So that one could be interesting. Then, obviously, you would want to have energy ones, okay? So this one is, I would like this one. I need to get into some of these. These are probably good ideas. 0.70, not that big. But this one is, instead of going through, because if you didn't want to keep track of things all the time, let's say SMR had a total flummox and something like leaked and then they're like a goner, then you'd have to remember to get back into your account and, get rid of it. In this one, hopefully they would remember to do that. But CG, this one's nuclear. So you got CG, CCJ, Oklo, and SMR. Those are the two small nuclear reactor ones that I talk about a lot. You would already have your exposure to them. You don't have to really watch them. Mining, DNN, UEC, the next gen. This one's another one that is like a small nuclear reactor doing nuclear things. And it has the components, and they actually have a dividend. They're a pretty set company, so that one's a nice one. I would also tell people to get into that. Not investment advice, but I also like EU and LEU. I like that one's the fuel and uranium mining. So You wouldn't have to really go picking through these one by one. This one, it's holding some nice guys there. That one, interesting for sure. And then you would have the regular energy. This one, I see this one. People recommend this one to me, actually. This one. Now, I would have said Kinder Morgan. Where's this one? Where's the stocks that's in it? Top holdings. Wait a minute. No. That's not it. Not ALMP. Well, actually, that one could be, but it's coming up weird. But it has a decent, an over 7% dividend, and these would be the one. ET, I do know about that one. Sun, and you could say that one would do good. But you have XLE, okay? So now, what's in XLE? This, the Kinder Morgan. That one I'm interested in because Marjorie Taylor Greene, several politicians are in KMI. And with all the natural gas talk, I think that one could be big. This is obviously going to be an oil one, so you would have those guys, Phillips, and then that one is going to have a 3.48% dividend. And I didn't really look at the years. Now you could call that's going to rise for sure. I can't say that, but I would probably say that has a good chance of rising. Let's see about this one. See, this one's already going to rise, but I mean, if you're just going to sit on it, you could wait and play everything smart, right? And this one, NNE, Duke, that's going to be power company, and they're going to start doing nuclear power. Same with D, CG, that's going to be the one Bill Gates invested in. This one, you wouldn't go wrong with that one. Plus, these types of ones you're limiting your risk here, because let's say something happened at Duke. There was like, I don't know, fucking a cyber attack or something. It's going to plummet. So these hold those up. That one would be nice. Now, then you would get into, I had already said the nuclear one. There's biotech ones as well. Oh wait, a tech one would be SMH. There's a lot of these, obviously. But this one, SMH, is for the semiconductors. Personally, see, that one's on and up. So you would want to wait. Oh man, that DeepSeek thing. See, anything can happen. This was just in 1 year. You see, that would have been the dip everyone thought it was, and then it got worse. But you see things drop. So you just give it time and sit on it and wait. That one's going to have a 0.44% dividend, and it's got the big NVIDIA right there. And then that ain't a bunch of dicks. That's not very nice to AMD. But then you got Q, Qualcomm, people like that. This, Marjorie's in that one too. This, MU, people like that. What else would this one have? But Broadcom is definitely a good one. AMD. Intel has potential. It certainly does. Cadence, that's a defensive one. And then I don't know too much about these ones, but they're not holding as much. But let's say something happened with Jensen. He had a big old scandal or something, and then that could, well, it's still 20% NVIDIA on that one. Now, okay, another important one that people don't always think about. You want to think about water, because everybody needs to drink water. I don't even know what happened with this today, but this would be the water index, because people are always going to have to buy that. And like I always say, the CEO of water company, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. 2.04% dividend on that one. And then these are the main ones. This, Bill Gates is in this guy, XLY. And this, he's also, I think, he's either an ECL or XYL. He might be in both, to be honest, now that I think about it. And American Waterworks is definitely a good one there. And then CNM, he's in that too. See, things that Bill Gates are in, you gotta pay attention, because that motherfucker, MWA, I know that one. So that's a water one. Could be nice and safe. I mean, I don't know what you wanted to do here. I don't know if you're looking for safe or what. One of these water companies was at a pop. That one only has a 0.49% dividend. ACOM, I see that a lot. AOS, more. That one, Waters, Ecolab. So that one is another. And then for fun growthy ones. Oh wait, also IBB. So I guess the next thing I'll get into is biotech stocks. Now this holds your biotech stocks. They're certainly on low because the Kennedy administration has not been kind to biotechs, just general sentiment. But I think Marty McParty, the FDA guy, I think he's going to bring it in. He's going to bring the party to the biotech industry. And so normally biotechs don't have really a dividend at all because they're always developing, using their money. They have to. Gilead, this, how ironic. Gilead, that's one of the companies that Robert F. Kennedy is actually invested in. And I also think Morgan, I think Casey Means was as well. I'm not going to sure on that one. Bah, I've lost money on Biogen, those fucks. But other ones, they switch it around some. So you can get exposure to lots of different biotechs that hopefully are on the verge of something exciting, like INSM. That one had recently had those, I think, a couple approvals. Then you have Moderna, which everybody hates Moderna right now. I wouldn't want to be in that one. But then going to stocks that nobody would think about, I would say Humacyte. If I had $100,000, I would put a lot of it on Humacyte. I sort of fucking God I would. I shouldn't. I'm an idiot. But I think Humacyte will do things once I would maybe wait until they got the official news that they can sell to the Department of Defense. Because once that happens, I think it's going to be glorious for Humacyte. But they have so many other therapies, like, coming through their pipelines. So, Humacyte, they made bioengineered human veins and tissues. Nobody else can do that. Oh, shut the fuck up. They have a lot of scandals around them, okay? But there's just haters. And they were at an elite NASDAQ conference. So the news stories about them, plus, of course they might have deaths because they were doing their clinical trials in Ukraine where people were already exploded. So, maybe someone that exploded had all this damage. They already were going to die. It wasn't the Humacyte that was trying to save them. This exciting. They announced, this isn't really news about them, but they are a disruptive biotechnology platform to deliver universally implantable bioengineered human tissues, advanced tissue constructs, and organ systems. I think eventually Humacyte will be able to make bioengineered organs. So Humacyte, definitely. Then another risky one that could just be, I wouldn't put as much into this one, but this one's supposed to be curing diabetes with this inlet therapy. People are pretty excited about that. And then TEM. Nancy Pelosi is in TEM. Ooh, TEM is not too much on a low, but TEM is a fun one. And this one is doing bringing artificial intelligence and machine learning to healthcare. You could sort of say that Palantir is doing that too. You're right, Palantir. I don't think you go wrong buying Palantir for something long term. They don't have any dividends. And in some of those other ETFs, you would be exposed to Palantir. So, you have Palantir exposure, but I feel like they do so much in everything, selling to governments, all sorts of things. So Palantir, I don't think that was bad. And then on the other one, Rocket Lab. I think Rocket Lab would be a very interesting ETF stock to get into. There probably is a space stock ETF. There is a space stock ETF. I don't know why all these, I've looked up several ETFs now that all had this random pop like that, but that one, a 1.95% dividend, which is kind of cool because these do not have dividends. So, and you got exposure to a lot of nice guys here. I think ATS, they should have ASTS up higher than these, but I don't know. Rocket Lab is second. That's a good sign. Lunar, Intuitive, that's the one that had the 2 failed moon missions. So the little Odysseus, he tipped over. It was actually really sad. I kind of felt bad for Odysseus. And then Boeing, Redwire's on there. I like Redwire. And then you do have your defense companies. You have Raytheon, Exposure, Lockheed Martin, those motherfuckers. Boeing, those failures. Global Star, I used to be in Global Star. Then they had a reverse split and they got out of it. But those guys, they're coming. I think they're a legit company. They're serious. People like serious. So this could be, I think if you didn't want to look at stocks all the time and stuff and safe, this would probably be the safer bet because anything can happen. Obviously I like to think the highest quality of Rocket Lab, but this gives you nice exposure to all the space stocks. Actually, I might write that one down for myself, to be honest. ETFs, UFO, that would be very promising there with a dividend. Can't go wrong with that. Well, obviously you could. Something terrible could happen with the space industry. But anyways, HIMS. I fuck with HIMS. I just like it. You know what? I bet there'd be an ETF for telehealth too. Because see, look at them there, rising. That you wouldn't want to buy it then. See, you also have to kind of pay attention when you're buying with this. Because the swings on these types of stocks are, as you can see, very drastic, very volatile swings. So when you're in those ETFs, it balances them out. So this one is going to be an ETF for health, and it's down. So see, notice. See, something that can be fun about choosing the stock you like is you go up with it, but then on the downside you also go down with it. So ones like these, see, this one is negative 0.436 for the year. That, and it doesn't have a dividend. It's got TEM, Natera, ooh, Intuitive Surgical. That's what I think MBOT's going to be the next. So I would definitely say MBOT. Sometimes you could go into a stock, and then if you really know, which obviously this is not investment advice, but I think I really know, their efficacy rate is 100%. Now, and everyone's talking about how these surgery robots are going to be the next big thing. So when they get their Liberty system approved, it's an endovascular, it's not a nanobot. Somebody on YouTube corrected me. It is not a nanobot. It's a Liberty endovascular robotic systems. But anyways, go back to this one. I don't know if this would be the best ETF for that. Wait, I just really looked up Grok, and I was looking up ETFs. This one, Genomic Revolution, ARKG. I mean, you might as well just, with these, I don't know. They don't even look like they're doing as well. CRISPR, I hear good things about. Ooh, this one has a RX. I would definitely recommend RX, but I don't actually see HIMS. You might just be better off getting HIMS. I would, next time HIMS goes on a dip, I think HIMS is going to be a huge company. But I don't know, because there's always Amazon overhead. Because honestly, I do believe that Jeff Bezos is the king of the world, one of them. And if anything he sticks his fucking nutsack on, it's going to turn gold. So when he starts doing telemedicine, Jadman Prime Health appointments. Like, can you imagine how big this would be? Prime Health has through their Amazon Prime, Amazon One Medical. That's what it is. I think like doctors are going to end up working through this place. Like, well, they already do, but like, I just think it's going to be gigantic. Virtual and in-person care. Dude, if he has his way, this motherfucker will own so much. And then the other thing, because I would definitely say Amazon. I would say Amazon is probably one of the strongest ones, I'd say. Because in Amazon, Project Cooper, which is actually pronounced Kuiper, but I think that's stupid, and he should have said it just Cooper. He launched satellites in his base. He's going to offer internet. So he's competing with SpaceX, but then also it'll be internet for regular people all around the world. So Amazon, I think, and I wouldn't say he's on a low. You can always wait for a low with Jadman, because see, you just have to time it right. This is his year chart. So at least twice a year, Jadman has a horrible accident. And it also would kind of suck, though, because sometimes these accidents or these drops are market-wide. So you would always want to have money on hand as you build a $100,000 portfolio, because you could build a really fucking savage. Oh my God. But then, okay. So that one, this up here was going to be, it didn't have ABCs in there. Yeah. Okay. That one, yeah, that would be a interesting ETF right there. And then I had said, I was going to say Google. I don't think you go wrong holding Google as it is, because I just think that's a giant gainer. Ooh, Alphabet shares. They went back up after. Alphabet shares are trading higher after they had earnings. I didn't know Google had earnings just now. That's exciting then. Wait a minute. What? No, they didn't. Wait, this? Yeah, I don't know why it's saying that, but. Oh, wait, it's probably from before. Notice here, Google AI firm must face lawsuit filed by Mother over. That's not good. But these guys, all these companies, they have lawsuits all the time, which definitely brings them down. This one probably won't, but like, when they get sued by the European Union or like all of India, that certainly doesn't bode well. So Google always has drops. And another, I think Google, I think its CEO, Dara, I think he's a savage. I think it's a worldwide company. I think they just recently started making revenue, because that's how long they've been using to spend. They spend a lot of money on their stuff, all the things they're doing. So Uber, I think it would be a good growth. I don't think they've reached their peak at all. Like, and then something with Google, whenever Elon does anything, farts in their direction, it puts them down, which I don't even know why. Uber shares are trading lower following Tesla self-driving car plans despite innovative initiatives and strategic partnerships. Like, Uber is they partnering with Elon and the robo-taxi stuff. They're all in this together. So I don't think Uber and Elon are in a competition, Dara and Elon, like at all. Uber does all its, I think Uber, powerhouse company. And then if you want growth, things that I think will do really well, which this one's down now. This one, you have, what the hell happened here today? They're a growth stock. Growth stocks can take some long time, as you might be able to see. You would have Aurora Trucking. All right, so now they're ready. They're driving first launches. Aurora launches the first commercial driverless trucking service. This is through Uber. So Uber invests heavily into Aurora because Uber has this thing, Uber Freight, where truckers can go and find loads, and then people that need loads can get it there. And then their Uber Freight is going to be offering the option to use Aurora's self-driving trucks for this. So, and it's only launched in Texas. So just imagine how many other states, how much more they can do. This is just the tiniest little guy rising. It's going to be, I think Aurora will be big. And then if you wanted to, which this one, you could also do AICT. I think autonomous trucking. If I'm being totally honest, I think autonomous trucking could be bigger than the flying cars. And people tell me all the time, you and your flying cars, you stupid fucking bitch. But I am a fan, and these wouldn't even really be in ETFs. I'm sure there probably is eVTOL ETFs, but Archer. I just think Archer will be a big growth stock. But if you're just holding this in account and you don't really care to look at it, if Archer has any accidents or Joby or even hover, I don't know. If you have a big chunk of money to spend, you don't really need to be dabbling in penny stocks, but I think, shit, I fucking would. I'm a gambling ass motherfucker. I would. New Horizon, that one's another one. They're going to get the craft. They just flew the craft, so now they're going to need investors. This one's certainly a long road. Archer's already doing their stuff, their taxi in United Arab Emiratis. Archer Aviation, UAE. So, Archer Aviation, man, they're going to be everywhere. And they partner with like airlines. So they don't even need like the infrastructure's already there to be, it's a vertical takeoff. So they don't really need a big runway and all that stuff. I just think, and when so there's like a fiery death of the monarchs, then, jump out of Archer. But if everything goes smoothly, which I think it will, because another thing about Archer that I think is something else that people aren't really thinking about is their Palantir connection. And for the past 3 years, Alex Karp is Palantir. Archer is this guy, Goldstein, and Adam Goldstein and Alex Karp have been cahoodling about doing this AI foundation for flying and stuff. And then lo and behold, the freaking airplanes are falling out of the sky. So they could actually be involved in revamping and AIing all the airlines in America, which would be insane. Palantir has their hand in a lot of things. And another reason I would just flat out get into Palantir is because this is the guy that got J.D. Vance elected, Peter Thiel. And he was the founder of Palantir with Alex Karp and funded all of J.D. Vance's political campaigns, rose him up, smoothed things over after Jay accidentally called Trump Hitler-esque, or whatever it said. And now, all of them. I think he also might have done something with Marco Rubio. I don't know, because big Rubio, I don't know. But anyways, Peter Thiel, he has his hand in a lot of things. How dangerous is Peter Thiel? Well, very dangerous if you don't have any Palantir. But anyways, AACT, that's another autonomous trucking one. Kodiak, that one's going to be Kodiak AI. And this one's not even on the thing yet, because it's going to be a merger. So AACT is just a little shell company waiting to suck up Kodiak. It would be called a SPAC merger. But people are excited about Kodiak, and Kodiak's also autonomous trucking. I think the autonomous trucking industry, I think it might be bigger. I think it might, not bigger than, I think Humacyte will be the biggest. I think bioengineered veins and tissues, that's truly the biggest. But then, I might say autonomous trucking. You can also say the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin mining, crypto mining, and the data center stuff, because all of this stuff needs data centers. So then, a little guy that not many people think, and people tell me this stock is shit, but I might not think it is, because Core 42. This one's partnered with Core 42. And I think the whole geopolitical landscape of our world is going to change. And our new best friends are the sweet brown princes. And and the sheiks, United Arab Emiratis. So Core 42 is the one that's partnering with delivering for TerraWolf. And then TerraWolf put something out on their X that an announcement, they're going to say something about their data centers and their leasing, because they still have way more stuff they could be leasing out and developing. So TeraWulf, I think it has huge potential in this AI boom, because it's going to be an AI boom like no one's ever seen. People say the AI bubble popped, but they haven't even brought out the robots. The robots are going to be a game changer. The robots need so much more computing power for the robot brains, and that all happens at these data centers. So I would say Wolf. APLD, that could be one too, but like there's probably an ETF with that one too, but Wolf, the fact that it is with my United Arab Emirates, I just think that is just fucking huge. And this would probably be a lot of the things I would say, but there's definitely probably more things I might say. I like the uranium, but ETFs would be for that. I forgot. Okay, the deep sea mining thing. The deep sea mining things won't even really have ETFs, because no president has just came and said, open up that seaboard. So the seabed opening, that's big. So TMC, I like this one because the CEO, his name is this guy Gerard, and he's already handed the license. He already has the nodules set up and his infrastructure. Well, not really the infrastructure. They definitely need some infrastructure to get it down there, but the technology is on its way. And then you could also say Omex, they're also doing the seabed mining. And these guys have just been kept down because of the environment and whatnot. Now, when you talk about all the stuff they're going to do in the oceans, I'm always going to say OPTT. I think, God damn it, this guy, Philip, he just has to get some more buys. I think he will. OPTT makes these ocean buoys, and they do all sorts of things for military surveillance. They can get data, stuff for the weather. So these, I think they sold to United Arab Emirates already. So OPTT. And then I had said MBOT. I think that could be a big jump soon. This one, waiting on the Liberty nanobots. And then, yeah, that could probably be almost all my things. No, I would say Serve Robotic, or I would say Rich Tech Robotics. They have the robot arms and stuff. I think robot bartenders doing all sorts of robot hospitality stuff. And then I'm a lot into Serve, but so I like Serve, and they're connected to Google. But if I was to go into a fresh thing, I might go into NBIS instead of Serve, just because they have the rolling robots just like Serve. That's a subsidiary, so they're doing other stuff, and they're also in, well, the fact that they are in Amsterdam, Netherlands would be my one little concern, but they do have Jensen went into them, so they have a lot of potential, and the fact that they have the rolling robots subsidiary, probably a better investment would be NBIS, but obviously you would see here, you would want to wait. They're on a straight motherfucking tear. And Serve, not so much on a tear. They really had a bad time. They had a bad time with all the DeepSeek and the tariffs, and they had a bad earnings. It wasn't a bad earnings, I don't think. It was showing that they were doing lots of profitability. If we think, I guess, and all of this stuff is also dependent on whether or not you think these things are going to happen. If you think people will get their food in rolling robots, the sidewalks have to be good, then by all means, your confidence in Serve. Same with the NBS one. They look just like this, except theirs don't have eyes. But if you think it's stupid and you don't, then maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that's what I invest in. And also, they had an NVIDIA partnership too. Well, they still use NVIDIA chips. But see, this is when Jensen bought into them. And then this is right around, it was a horrible time when he divested from them. Anyways, it was a trifecta of disaster for my sweet Serve. But they still have a lot of potential here, I think. Because if they could get up to there, I know they could do it. Anyways, but if you don't think robots are a thing, then... And then this would be the over-the-counter one. And this one definitely would be the one. If you think it's a thing, F. If you think, dudes, and this one's over-the-counter, so you would have to have a different one. But if you think, and they're not supposed to be having sex with her. Or you could get electrocuted. She's a companion robot, but she also will work at, they're going to be robotics. She also will work at like places where you do receptions and whatnot. But if you think this will never catch on, people are going to fuck them. But and I also think they also run on the language models They also run on the language models. Why does the dude have to look all weird? But they run on Meta's language models, Gemini's language models, Grok's language models. So that, and then this one's 135, 100. This one I think she just sits. So she'd be like the one that does the receptions or the ticket sales or whatever there is. But if you think that's what's happening, same with Rich Tech Robotics. If you think someday you'll go to a Rangers game, which technically you could go to a Rangers game in Las Vegas, and this robot would be serving your drinks and whatnot, then you would want to invest in this one. You can actually go see these robots places too, and they have a Walmart partnership where the robots are rolling around Walmart, and not technically Walmart, well kind of, where they have like a whatchamacallit, like a kitchen or something. Where would be the ones? And they have all those patents. I think these guys are really smart. And the one CEO, the two founders, the last name is Huang. So they have the same last name as Jensen. But I don't think there's any relation, because I did try to find that. See, that's the one at the Rangers game. So you would order a drink, and then this robot would do it. And people would think that they are janky or whatever. But it's doing it autonomously. So the fact that it learns to do this autonomously, it is learning as it goes, as they always say, machine learning. And I went there the very first day, and I thought it did a good job serving me the drink. So I think Rich Tech Robotics, I think the whole robot industry is poised for so much growth, like that people don't even understand. That's why they might be, not giving the health insurance, or I don't know, letting millions of people die around the world, because I think they just think that the robots. And Amazon also has a whole fuck ton of robot stuff going on. Same with Meta. But like Meta, Oracle, Pawn, Palo Alto, that's another one that Nancy Pelosi's in. Securities. You'd want to get into a security ETF, well, cybersecurity one. That's important. But then again, Google also does a lot of that. But that would be my main things.